And you will have 3 minutes, sir. Okay, how do you start?
My name is Richard Greco, 2970 Demerit Drive, Titusville. My discussion this morning deals with the North Brevard Economic Development Council. Selection of candidates to serve as board members is one of the most important factors to a well-functioning board. The charter of the NBEDZ provides for a 9-member board, 3 members from, respectively, from the county commission recommendation, 3 from the District 1 recommendation by Commissioner Fisher, and 3 from the City of Titusville. The 9 board members are chosen should have the skills and experience to understand the complex business issues and, of course, have integrity beyond question. 3 board members selected by the County Commission include Dan Aton, George Mkhitaryan, and Stanley Retz. The 3 board members selected by District 1 Commissioner Robin Fisher include Robert Jordan, Brenda Fetro, and Louis Sanders. The 3 board members selected by the City of Titusville include Michael Lloyd, Al Matroni, and Don Mount. This is shown in Exhibit 1 in your handout or on the board, as you can see readily. Research was done into the relationships of Commissioner Robin Fisher with the board members. An illustration of the connections is shown in Exhibit 2, which is on the board. The sources for the information collected include Commissioner Fisher's financial disclosure with the state of Florida and corporate records of Florida Department of Corporations. The information collected included close relationships between Commissioner Fisher and the 6 board members selected by the County Commission and the District 1 Commissioner. There is a very strong connection between Commissioner Fisher and the board members of Parish Medical. Indeed, 3 board members of NBEDZ are also affiliated with Parish Medical. The connection of Commissioner Fisher with Parish Medical is emphasized by the fact that the chairman of Parish Medical, Herman Cole, is also a business partner with Commissioner Fisher. They own a company called Coalfish Investments, which owns a commercial property across the street from the Miracle City Mall. Robert Jordan is the next-door neighbor to Commissioner Fisher. Robert Jordan is vice chairman of Parish Medical and serves on the board of NBEDZ. George Mkhitaryan is chief executive officer of Parish Medical, serves as chairman of the board of NBEDZ. Stanley Retz is on the board of Parish Medical and NBEDZ. He's also a business partner with Commissioner Fisher in a company called It Fits Homes, Inc. Commissioner Fisher's financial disclosure indicates he has a $55,000 investment in this company. Mr. Retz is also a CPA and does Commissioner Fisher's tax returns. Therefore, Parish Medical as a voting bloc have 1/3 of the votes of NBEDZ and very close ties with Commissioner Fisher. Dan Aton is the founder of XOS Technologies and serves as its executive vice president. He's also on the board of NBEDZ. Commissioner Fisher has a $75,000 investment in XOS, which is a privately held company. Any questions?
It would appear that there's almost a conflict of interest when it comes to Parish Medical Center, because if Parish Medical Center is going to be obtaining some office space from the Miracle City Mall, is there not a conflict of interest? I'm asking the board. Does that not appear to be a conflict of interest where 1/3 of the voting bloc?
I think it would be directed to Mr. Knox.
Mr. Knox, would that be a voting conflict if 1/3 of the board is voting on something where they're going to be obtaining office space?
I don't believe that 1/3 of the board has individual special gain that's going to be derived from any transaction involved in this particular zone. No.
No, not in the zone, but in the Miracle City Mall office space, they're asking to set aside square footage.
Parish is not a member of the board. The individual members of the board are the ones that have to have the conflict of interest. None of them have a conflict of interest.
Sitting on the board of Parish collectively, they don't have a conflict of interest?
No, they don't. The board of Parish does not sit on the
You're excused. Thank you very much.
board.
Okay, thank you.
Our next speaker is John Pelly.
Actually, I was going to speak on Miracle City Mall, but I didn't realize that was coming up first. Something has bugged me for the last few weeks when I spoke about the $6.5 million grant. And after I spoke and sat down, Commissioner Fisher had said, he mentioned my name saying I was against the project. And that's not true, Commissioner. It would be as if we were next door neighbors and you were putting in a pool. And I would be all happy for it. And I said, great. You know, hopefully you'll invite me over and we can watch some Gator games, have a barbecue, and have a good time. But if he said, John, you got to give him $5,000 toward building my pool, I'd say, well, no, I'm still happy you're getting a pool. I just don't want to help you pay for it. And that's kind of the same thing with the mall. I'm happy it's maybe built up there, but to ask the citizens to give a grant to a private developer just isn't right. There is public and there's private. And I don't know about that board that was here. I'm not a lawyer, but I'll be honest with you, Mr. Knox, there's definitely a conflict. If they're employed by Parish Medical, receiving actual income, then there is a conflict. If you're getting your livelihood from a company and that company is going to benefit, of course there's a conflict. You don't have to have a degree in law to understand that basic fact. I mean, who's going to say to their boss, oh, I'm against the project? Well, you'll find a new employer at that point. So, you know, let's just be open about all this. And I think everybody here should disclose any ties to this development. So if you own property across the street or next door to it, if you're going to be selling insurance policies to them, I mean, the public does deserve a right to know. You're using public dollars, and I still go back to that power plant has nothing to do with NBEDZ, and I'm a citizen of unincorporated Brevard, and that money should have been in the general fund. And I would have appreciated my commissioner in District 2 to have stood up and said, wait a second, that power plant money should not be siphoned off and put into a separate slush fund that doesn't get a lot of scrutiny. Thank you.
Big Mac?
Yeah, I did, if you didn't mind. Thank you. You know, when you sometimes don't get what you want up here, sometimes people throw out or just try to discredit community leaders and people. But you know, I've been in this community, I don't know, 40-something years, but I've been a business owner for 25 years and employed people in the North Brevard area, and have done it very successfully for those 25 years. And it's kind of disheartening to, and I really do understand why people probably don't, business people don't come up here and take these positions, because they don't want to deal with some of the bull crap that goes on. But, you know, I've been recognized by numerous boards and organizations for my efforts and what I've been able to accomplish, and kind of take it disheartening that somebody who's been in my community for a year is trying to discredit myself or any other person in North Brevard that I've known for a long time and have a lot of trust in their business savvy and interest. And you spend 25 years with people, you tend to gravitate towards people you think are successful. So we're proud of what we've done, but I also want to make sure it's clear for the public that you know, I filed a Form 6, and that Form 6 has been given to the county attorney's office with a 327-page tax return. And yes, I have a lot of business interests, and I had those business interests prior to me being a county commissioner. Matter of fact, in 04 and 05, I actually had 32 transactions in real estate, along with what I do in insurance business. So Yeah, several corporations that I've have an interest in. I had them long before county commission, and I'll have them long after this seat's over with if I keep doing what I've been doing. And so I do want the public to know that with that 327-page tax return and those things, I disclose everything I have, and I've shared that with the county commission, and we're proud of what we've accomplished and we've done, and we've done it legally. I have no financial interest in Miracle City Mall. I don't tend to have any financial interest. I can tell you that, and nobody that I know of on any of the boards, which is all independent boards, have any kind of financial interest in the mall other than Mr. Goins and Excel Project will have. So, and just as we make mention of the mall, I want to make sure that people understand too that that wasn't a project that I had personally identified. The community came together through the Greater Titusville Renaissance campaign and said that there are a lot of communities that have identified properties in their area that are blighted, and they want to do something about it. And that one sits on US 1. It's been identified by our community. Almost the entire community has, and is shown by the picture when we had the rally at the mall where 3,000 people showed up on a rainy night to supportive of the development. Said, we want to change the way this looks because it stops growth and it shows stagnant in our community. The hospital, through an independent study, where they spent thousands of dollars on, identified that consolidating to that area of the city was beneficial to them, and they made a decision to do it. And Mr. George McIntyre has nothing but integrity to the hill, and I'm offended for him that somebody would make that accusation about him, especially a member of this board. Mr. McIntyre, just for the record though, Herman Cole and Robert Jordan was not appointed to the hospital board by me. They actually were on the board before I became a county commissioner of the hospital board, and they're not employed and not paid employees. So it's interesting that, and this is a problem with this spot. People can come up and throw accusations and say things, and then you find yourself having to defend some of them. And I'm very comfortable defending any of them because there's no financial interest that I have outside of the things that I personally have invested in. For the record, for 25 years, I invested in Titusville and that community, and I'm proud of it. And I put my money with it, with my time, and we're trying to change the culture, and we're trying to make a difference. And we're going to keep doing that, and we'll deal with the naysayers in the process. I do want to say something that because I know it's going to come up here in a few weeks, and as part of talking with the developer on the mall, we did have some conversation with how we're going to handle that situation. And one of the things the developer actually recommended was that we're not going to ask for any dollars until the investments and improvements been made on his end, and we'll come back more with that. But it is not unusual for cities or counties who have identified sites of property that will create jobs and make improvements in their community for economic development, identify things and invest in them, and that's what Brevard's doing. And so with that, thank you.
Commissioner Nelson.
I just want to say, first of all, I'm disappointed at the character assassination that's occurred today. It's just uncalled for. We can disagree, but I'm a friend of George McIntyre from a professional perspective, and I guess that makes me guilty too. It's just, I just am troubled by how that was approached. This project actually predated Commissioner Fisher coming on this board. This was an original CRA project that was done when Commissioner Scarborough was in office. And so the concept of the mall was actually long before Robin got here. So I think it's unfortunate that this conversation has occurred. And when it comes to the issue of the mall itself, I think this board said we want to see what the deal looks like. I mean, we haven't agreed to do anything at this point except see what the specifics, because I refer to it as the devil in the detail, and that's what will be coming back to us. So there's been no hard, fast decision made, and ultimately this board will decide. And I think that's good government, and it'll be done in the public. So I'm disappointed with the nature of the discussion today, because it's certainly it's premature, and it's offensive to me that you would have people making these kinds of accusations.
Commissioner Infantini.
I'd like to be clear. I didn't hear anybody assassinate anybody's character. I mentioned that there could be a conflict of interest. That's not assassinating somebody's character. It's presenting a standpoint, a perspective that should somebody vote on something, they may have a conflict of interest. That's not saying that I have anything but the highest respect for Mr. Mkhitaryan. It's just saying that perhaps he shouldn't be voting on such issues. But I want to make it clear, because he's not here. I would never accuse somebody or defame somebody who is not present to defend themselves. That would be very, very unprofessional. And the other thing that was coming to light was, should we be spending $6.5 million taxpayer dollars on a mall? Malls are typically private development. If they're successful, the public will so render. You don't have government build malls. You don't have government build things. If it's profitable, the public will build it themselves. That's what these gentlemen are trying to mention. That's what they're trying to point out. And what I keep trying to point out is, where's your priority? A mall in the Titusville area or the lagoon? That's my perspective.
Commissioner Anderson.
Well, first of all, it's something that I've said in the past about people throwing out innuendos is one of the reasons that I thought we needed Attorney General, or not Attorney General, Inspector General, to put a lot of things to rest that are just, quite frankly, BS. You can come up and say anything you want about an elected official, and then you got to defend yourself. It's very clear. I've been studying ethics for the last 3 months since the new law went into effect deeply. I've known it. I've taught it before when I was in the city of Palm Bay. 112.31434 statute, as part of the Florida Ethics Code, it pretty clearly points out what voting conflicts are. And because somebody's a member of a board and their house value may go up because there's a new mall, that is not a voting conflict. A voting conflict would be if I owned a car lot that was in a redevelopment area and they thought it was blighted and they bought it from me and I voted on it, and then I take the profits. That's when you go to jail, and that's illegal. That's what voting conflicts are. They're not just because somebody benefits because they live in a community. And I get a little tired of people picking on North Brevard. I have a lot of friends up there, including Commissioner Fisher. The city of Melbourne has plans to buy 4.4 acres for $1.37 million. Came out last week. And they want to build a linear park using taxpayer money. The city of Melbourne is going to buy it outright. They're going to develop it outright, put marinas in there. I think they're going to put shops in there. It's funny, I don't see the residents of Melbourne throwing a fit. And it's going to be a lot more than $5 million when they're done. So let's not act like this is the only project happening. Almost every municipality is doing it. And I don't believe anybody's doing anything illegal or wrong. They're just trying to improve our damn community. Enough said.
Commissioner Nelson.
I wasn't referring to you, Commissioner Infantini, but apparently you feel guilty. But I wasn't directed towards you. It was directed towards the commentary from the gentleman who made the presentation, because when I read here, it says two members of that board are friends of Robin Fisher, and no direct ties could be determined. That's witch hunting. That's not related to anything other than trying to find something wrong, and to me that is character assassination, because by inference it's saying that they're trying to do something wrong. And so certainly my comments weren't directed towards you, but I am still concerned with the information that was provided, which is clearly an attempt to show wrongdoing, which is wrong. Those were what my points were.
Commissioner Fisher? You okay? Commissioner Nelson, you had your light on next again?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Infantini.
My response was to Commissioner Fisher, not to you. So my conscience is clear. And regarding the City of Melbourne, I am equally opposed to the City of Melbourne going out and spending all of those taxpayer dollars. If Dixie Crossroads couldn't be successful right there on US 1 when it came in, and everybody knows how successful Dixie Crossroads is. What makes the city of Melbourne think that they can go in and buy a piece of property and make it successful? There was a marina there. Again, not successful. So why would government go in and try to recreate which the public cannot do? But it's not my jurisdiction. I don't have oversight. I'm not a City of Melbourne resident. I am equally opposed to it, believe me. And if I were one of their residents and they were crying they didn't have enough taxpayer dollars, I would be totally against it, but I'm not a City of Melbourne resident, but I am just as against it.